Darlings, this episode of Living Out Loud with Loretta is truly an eye-opening and inspiring story for any of us that are trying to make positive changes in our health and fitness. I have spoken literally a couple of minutes ago, had a long conversation with someone who in the health and fitness industry is certainly very well known, very well respected. His celebrity clients go from most recently Brooke Shields, in the past J-Lo. Not bad, right? He has a lot of men as well, but you know, I'm a woman and I'm looking at women of a certain age who have lived their lives, and whoever they're going to help shape or reshape and really kick their bodies into gear, that's who I'm interested in. This guy is, I am proud to say, also a Nigerian boy. I mean, he's not a boy, he's a man. He's 46. He's a baby compared to me. Mr. Ngo Onyeka Okafor. He is the founder and owner of Iconoclast Fitness, which is in Manhattan, right down there by the, Flatiron building. What he has done with his business and his whole story of how he even got here, how he's even doing what he's doing, considering he started as the skinny kid that was constantly sick. His story truly is inspiring, and for any of us that think, can I do it? Yes, you bloody well can. Welcome, my darlings, to another episode of Living Out Loud with Loretta. Today, as I am in this space of trying to improve my health and fitness, I have possibly the number one man who's downloaded, not just because of the way he looks, but because of his health, his fitness, his story. It's fantastic. It's inspiring. I welcome you to Mr. Ngo Okafor. But what your middle name? Tell me your middle name. Onyeka. Now, you are an Igbo man, as I am an Igbo girl. Tell my audience how you have become like the go-to guy for health and fitness. Little Nigerian-born American guy. How? Please tell me and tell my audience where it all started.
Well, it all, like my fitness journey started in Nigeria, actually. I was 14. So quick backstory, I was the skinniest human being you've ever seen in your life. I had 360 ribs. So you can see the ribs in the back, ribs in the front, ribs in the side. And I was a sick kid when I was growing up. I had like every allergy. I was allergic to everything: dust, grass, freshly cut grass, flowers, perfume, anything. And then I had severe asthma, bronchitis, just name it. So I didn't get a chance to play sports like all the other kids because I was in and out of the hospital. And then when I wasn't in the hospital, or even sometimes when I was in the hospital, I was trying to catch up on schoolwork. So it was just not fun. But luckily, when I was 13, I outgrew all of those things. And I was just like, hey, I'm here, getting a bit older. I like girls. The girls thought I was cute, but I looked like a child. So I wanted the girls like the bigger guys. So I was like, okay, how do we solve this problem? We'll solve this problem by putting on some size. So I, one of my uncles took me to the local gym in Enugu, which is where I grew up, and that was where my fitness journey started. I started working out there with my older brother, and we would go every single day. So Monday through Friday, they were not open on the weekends, but we would go every single day. We would walk every day, and the walk was about an hour each way walk. That's how dedicated we were. We lived on a college campus, University of Nigeria, Enugu campus, for those who know. So we
I
would,
think my father was a principal there. I have
yeah,
these vague memories of him talking about it. I feel like he was, but that's we can discuss this off camera.
yeah.
But anyway, go on.
So we would walk, and there's a wall that separated the campus from the rest of the world, basically. So we would walk to this wall. We would jump this wall and cross the street and go to the gym every single. And we would scale the wall again and go back home every single day. And on the weekends, we would watch Rocky or Rambo or Conan the Barbarian. And we would get inspiration from like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and we would do push-ups, and we would watch the movie, do push-ups, watch certain scenes, just trying to look like those guys. So that was how it started, and then I just started. I was completely in love with it. Every day of my life, I lifted weights when I was younger. Then I got bigger, and then I got busier, and I got to college, and it wasn't as consistent as it was, because you have real life to live on campus. So I would go here and there, and then when I graduated and I moved to Connecticut and I started working, that was when I really got into fitness. Like there's this crew of guys back in Connecticut. We would train at this like grungy, rusty gym, and it was heaven. And we would all train together. These guys were bigger and stronger than me, so I learned a lot from them. They were different, different styles, and it wasn't scientific, but it wasn't like let me take it back. It wasn't scientific in the book sense, but it was scientific in the practical sense. Like these guys have been lifting for so long, they've tried everything, they've competed, they're power lifters. So I learned from these guys, and I took a lot of that when I moved to New York, and I was an IT guy when I moved to New York, because you have to do what the parents want you to do. They want you to graduate, get that degree, get that job, get that insurance, have someone take
Especially
you out.
especially Nigerian parents, African
Hey,
parents in general. You are
yep,
supposed to grow up to be a doctor, a
a
teacher,
pharmacist,
a pharmacist, something to do with
a
IT,
lawyer,
a
mhm,
lawyer, of
yeah,
course,
an
absolutely.
engineer.
An engineer, that's the one. That's the big one. That's the big one. Okay, so
Yeah,
you moved from Connecticut, you came to New
yeah.
York, and you got into IT.
Well, I was doing IT in Connecticut.
Okay.
An IT company in New York poached me from the company in Connecticut. So I moved to to New York to work for this company. 6 months after I get to New York, I get laid off, and I was like, "Hey, I'm here in New York. This is the land of opportunity. I can do anything. I can become whoever I want. All my dreams can come true in New York." And I just said to myself, like, I don't want to work in corporate, you know? And I just was like, I'm here. So let me do everything that I ever dreamt of doing. And I always looked at magazines and I saw these guys in the magazines and I just felt like I could do I could do it, you know? And I ramped up my training, got even in better shape, got a photographer, they took some pictures and I took them around to agencies. Didn't work at first. All of them said no. And then trained more, took more pictures, went back, and one agency said yes. And that's where it started and started working a lot. And then um, because I didn't get a chance to play sports, I discovered boxing at 31, and I was doing it originally to try to lose some weight, just like if not lose weight, but like try to just cardio. Some people run or ride the bike, and I did all of that. So I just wanted something different to change it up, and boxing was the thing. But as I did it, I I just fell in love with it, and I just kept getting better and better. But I wasn't trying to get better because I had a successful modeling career, and but I would go to different gyms and hitting the bag, and people would always ask me, "Hey, do you box? Do you box? Do you fight?" And I would always say, "No, I don't." But then it just kept happening over and over and over. And then one day there was these guys at this bodybuilding gym in the studio. They were boxing. They were sparring each other, and I asked them if I could jump in and work with them. And they said, yeah. So, I jumped in and started sparring with them. And at the end of it, they all said, hey, you're really good at this. Try, maybe you should look into trying getting deeper into it. And I met a guy and I met this dude. I went to this gym and there was a guy hitting the bag, and I was like, damn, I want to hit the bag. Like I thought I knew how to hit the bag. I was like, I want to hit the bag like that guy. So he introduced me to his trainer, and his trainer then became my trainer. He told me he was training for the Golden Gloves, and I said, I want to do the Golden Gloves. I didn't know what the Golden Gloves were, but it just sounded like something like really, really cool. So that was it. I was there every single day. So I would do my boxing training, and I would lift weights, and that's what I did. And just kept pushing and pushing and get training and trying to get better. And got my ass kicked a ton, but I learned. And at 33, I won my first Golden Gloves. And then at 34, I won my second Golden Glove. So back to back years. And I had already, my career had kind of started to slow down a bit. And I don't do the broke actor, broke artist thing. That's not that's not for me. So I'm like, listen, I gotta pivot. I gotta figure out a way to make some money. And I started training, and because I had won the Golden Gloves, like it just kind of like it just made me just solidified everything. So you can have science, but to have something as historic as the Golden Gloves behind you, it just made you the real deal. And people want to know that you've been there, you fought and you dedicated your life to something, and you are the best at something. A lot of trainers, they just work out, and great trainers, not taking anything away from any of the guys and girls in the business. But when you have something like the Golden Gloves behind you, the heat from that behind you, that is a difference maker. And because I had that, it just propelled my career. So anybody that I was talking to, oh, he's a great trainer. He's had a great successful modeling career. did some acting, but he's a Golden Glove champ. So that all of that, like the package was just, it just made me very marketable and easier for sponsors to attach themselves. And that kind of like propelled me. But also, I I love the science of fitness, but I felt that it put you in a box. And I've never been the kind of person to be in a box. So I wanted to create my own style.
Okay, I'm going to pause you,
Yeah.
rewind, explain to those of us that are not familiar with. Oh, hold on. Oh, my goodness me, the most important part of our interview. Forget fitness, fitness, schmitness. You've got your beverage. We need to
Yes.
cheers. Thank you for joining me, Ngo.
Oh,
Okay,
you're
I'm going to
very
pretend we're going
welcome.
to start again. Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
Mm.
Yeah.
What are you drinking, by the way?
This is Tito's and OJ.
Oh,
Tito's and
okay.
orange juice.
Yes, yes. Not
Yeah.
OJ the actor. For yes, I'm trying to get to drink less champagne and do like tequila is a drink that I love, but I'm trying it tonight with freshly squeezed lemon and then Pellegrino.
For me, if you're drinking, you're drinking. You know what
I
I mean?
agree.
Like I'm not like if I'm gonna do it, then we're going to the moon. We don't half step. I'm not counting calories. When it's time, we say we're gonna drink, we're drinking all the drinks.
You see, but you come from a place of
So
already being fit. You're just maintaining. I'm coming from a place of being, rather slender. And then
mhm.
in January last year, I had a mini mummy makeover to take off a lot of extra stuff that was going on. And then
Okay.
quarantine has done a number on my body. So I'm sure you've heard a lot of your clients say the
Of
quarantine
course,
15.
15.
Yeah, mine is probably quarantine, I don't know, 40 or something. I never weighed myself until now. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get a proper level space before I go back to my debaucherous ways. But before we continue, when's your birthday?
December 30th.
What's
I
that,
just turned
Sagittarius?
40 Capricorn. I just turned 46.
46?
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday. This
Thank
is
you.
46?
This is 46. I know.
Shit. Okay,
Age,
let me.
aged.
No, there's no age that you know fully well. No one is looking at you saying 46. They're looking at you saying, oh, 30. Oh, okay. But
Well,
okay,
thank you. Thank you.
no, you don't have to thank me.
You
So anyway,
you 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 flatter me.
let me rewind first to the science of fitness.
Yeah.
Explain that to someone that does not even understand what that means.
Well, it starts with anatomy, like the full knowledge of the muscles and the skeletal system and how they work together to move us. And then you go into programming, creating training programs to get different goals achieved in fitness. That's the simple explanation of the science of fitness. So you understand the body, understand all the muscles in the body, you understand the skeletal system, you understand how they move together, how they work together. And then you go into programming. And then you marry the two to produce, because it's kind of like being a chef, right? Somebody comes in and they're like, oh, I want to get da 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 da. And okay, I go in the kitchen and I whip up a program and I present it. This is what we're going to do to get you to where you want to go. That and it's as simple as that. Yeah.
Okay, so I have so let's go back to what you were saying about the fact that you having the golden gloves, winning those 2 years in a row. And I'm guessing
Mm-hmm.
31, 33, whatever, 34, those are like older years
Nobody,
for.
nobody does that. Like nobody, no, number one, nobody wins the Golden Gloves at that age, and nobody starts boxing at 31. Most people are done. They just start boxing at like 9, 10 years old, and just battered and, beat up for 20 years, and their careers are done. So for me, just getting in that late, I knew that. But I also knew that my life experience, like a lot of these guys have not seen anything, like I've seen life in Niger and struggled and fought through that and made my way to the States and fought through that. And, just the experience of that, a punch in the face is hard. But when you have that experience, when you hit someone with that experience behind your punches, people, when people experience those punches, they rethink their lives. They rethink their lives choices, and a lot of times, you don't want to die in the ring, but I was prepared to die in the ring. So when someone is prepared to die, it's difficult to beat them. So when I'm going into the ring and they hit me with skill, and I hit them with deadly intentions, and that usually ends fights because they, most people are like, I think I have other things I'd rather be doing than trading death shots with this guy. So
this reminds me of, because I'm a fan of the Rocky movies, and I've watched every single one apart from, I guess, maybe from 5 onwards. 4 onwards, I was like, whatever. And then I got back into it with Creed. Now, obviously, we know Sylvester Stallone, little guy, but the character and the whole story was, you would always be rooting for him. Now, the same thing of like, this is, I know that I will give up my life for this. And if you're walking into a ring, or I guess with anything in life, if you're walking in saying, this is it for me, and are you born with the skill to be able to box and box well, or is it something that you have to learn?
I am athletic, but there were a lot of athletic guys. It takes a little bit more than that. It's your will. That's what differentiates a guy who becomes a world champion and a guy who is really good, but doesn't have that extra gear. You got to have that death gear. The death gear is the gear where when someone hits you and hurts you, you don't panic. You don't panic because you're like, it hurts and I can't feel anything. I don't know where I am, but I'm not dead yet. So if you have that gear is what propels you to win, because every fighter gets tested, and if you don't have that resolve, like that death gear, you'll quit. So I had that death gear because I knew that I was athletic, but I didn't get the chance because, number one, I was sick as a kid, so I felt robbed. And then I had parents who didn't support athletics, which, fueled me as well. So the combination of these two things, I needed to do this. I needed to prove to myself that I wasn't delusional. I needed to prove to myself that I was being honest with myself. And for me, that is life or death.
See, that was going to be my next question. Like, how did you, as a Nigerian boy, especially, if you have traditional, very African traditional parents who wanted you to go into specific professions, how did they feel about you choosing to go in the ring and give your all to this? What was that conversation like?
Well, I didn't tell them till my brother actually came from London to my first finals. I didn't tell him that I was fighting because I knew what it was going to be about. So my brother came from London, and he told my parents because I was fighting in Madison Square Garden, and it was a big deal. So he told.
Wait.
Yeah,
You were fighting in Madison Square Gardens?
yeah. That's where the Golden Gloves finals were when I was fighting. So he made the trip from London, and it slipped that he was coming to watch my fight. I guess maybe he didn't know that they didn't know. And but at the end of the day, I I didn't care what they thought. I told them, they were like, your brain cells, and I said, listen, it's gonna be over tonight, so don't you worry. But I was willing to, like, I realized a long time ago that we're responsible for our own happiness. You know,
Yes.
so
I'm
living for
sorry.
your living, so having parents that want you to, being like property. I just refuse to have them control my life. I refuse to have them control my happiness. And this was going to make me happy, and I was not going to quit or not do it because it won't make them happy. It won't make them proud of me. And I left home when I was 15. I got into college when I was 15 in Nigeria because I needed to distance myself from my parents. And I knew for you to be truly happy, you have to take ownership of your own life and do things that make you happy. But if there are a lot of people that are followers, and sheep have to follow, and that's okay. But I'm not that, and I chart my own life, and I'm the captain of my own life, and I do what I want, and that's just that.
So, okay, let me touch briefly on the X model, which obviously you are built for modeling. You're 6'3", you're dark, you're gorgeous, you're
Thank you.
eloquent, you're smart, etc., etc. So, getting into the fitness and then the boxing, what then makes you think, you know what? I'm going to just open my own space
Mm.
and train people. What was that? How did that go?
Well, it starts from being um, like what drives me in this life is freedom, the desire to be free, to live, to do whatever I want. And I started my career working at a gym, and I just didn't have that freedom. I had to work certain hours, I had to be on the gym floor, and I had to do things their way. I had my own ideas, I couldn't implement my ideas. So I left that gym. I took my clients, I left that gym, and I became independent. So I would rent space from other gyms and train my clients. And I am a hustler. I grind, I work hard. So I had a lot of clients. And there was always jealousy from other trainer. There was always jealousy from the owners of the facility, managers. And I just, for me to be free to create and do whatever I wanted, I had to have my own space. So I wanted to own my own space for years. And I tried the first time I tried was about 12, like 10 years ago. I couldn't raise the money. So I let that go. I tried again a few years later with a business partner. Didn't work out so well. We dissolved the company. Went our separate ways, business wise. And then, and then I tried again, and I just kept trying. But in April of 2018, a trainer that I had worked with in the past approached me because he worked for this other trainer that owned this space that I'm in now. And he told me, he's like, hey, listen, Ngo, like I think with the business you have and with the clients you have, you can buy his gym. And I was just like, oh, get out of here. Like I knew the trainer and I know how successful he is or was. And I didn't think that I could buy it based on the book of business he had. So a couple of weeks go by, the same trainer comes back. And this is a testament to the fact that you have to be nice to people.
Oh, good Lord. Yes.
You have to be
Yes.
nice to people.
Oh, yes.
Because you have to be nice to people, period. And you have to be nice to people because you never know. And this was a trainer, like, I didn't know him, but I would see him at a different gym, but I was always nice. I was always caring. I care for people, and
You have that, I must say, you have that just for our audience, we met a long time ago, but you have that type of demeanor, that type of aura where you are like open and friendly and receptive to everyone. Do you know what I mean? Which I think possibly disarms people because they're looking at you. I mean, for those type of people that walk around looking for something to be jealous of, they're looking at you. You're 6'3", you look the way you do. Your body's the way it is. The first thing they'll want to be is like, oh gosh. But then you're like,
he's an asshole,
right? And then you approach them with, hey, and it's like, oh, okay, oh, hello, which is definitely helpful, whether it's a natural part of a personality or not. This is a lesson to everyone. Even if you have to fake it, be nice to people because you never know.
Well, the thing is, don't fake it.
Oh, really?
Like, don't fake it because you'll come through. Like, don't fake it. Be interested in people.
Yeah.
Because you can truly learn something. You can learn something. They can learn something from you. But I genuinely like people. I'm interested in what people have to say. I think that people are the best books out there because it's unedited. There's no pressure from a publisher to change this, change that. Like people are real life books. So if you listen, you can learn a ton. So I was, nice to him and we were just cool. And he came to me the first time. I was like, oh, I was like, no. And then he came to me again a couple of weeks later. And he's like, I'm telling you, like, I think you can do this. And I was like, set up the meeting. He originally wanted to go into business with me, which is why he'd been in the game a very long time, and he was looking to just kind of get into a situation with a hustler and coast. And his ideas weren't going to work.
For
like
you.
No, they were not going to work.
Yeah.
not even for me. Like it didn't make business sense.
Okay.
A lot of it was, people out of, underestimating people and not taking into consideration that people have choices. So his ideas just were not going to work. So he decided, he's like, listen, I think, just go ahead and you do it by yourself. Partly not thinking that I could do it by myself.
Oh.
So, and I love my doubters. I love my haters. I need my doubters. I need my haters.
You love the challenge?
I love, not just that. Like, I love, like when people tell me how great I am, I appreciate it, but it doesn't drive me. When people hate me and tell me how much I suck, or how much, or how I'm never gonna make it, or how I'm, whatever, I don't have what it takes, then it pushes me to wake up early when I'm tired. It pushes me to, gives me that extra gear to get up and prove them all wrong, to work those extra hours and put in that extra work, because I remember them, and I'm going to be PC. I need to win. I'm going to
You do
leave it
not
at
need to
that.
be PC. This is not a show for children. But I must say, it's interesting, just kind of looking your work ethic, just literally, I don't know specifically what time you wake up, but I do know what time I get up. And then, I use my time first thing in the morning before the children are awake or whatever, answer any messages I haven't responded to, trying not to text people for people that, do wake up at a normal hour. But you are always definitely active from like maybe 5:45, 5:30, 6:30. You're doing your brain is already awake, you're active. So what time do you actually wake up each morning?
Well, pre-COVID, it was 3:30.
Oh gosh. What?
Yeah.
3:30 in the morning. Okay.
I don't sleep much. Yeah.
My sister Helen would say that some of the most successful leaders do not sleep much. She will use Maggie Thatcher as an example, someone else, I can't remember who the other ones. But okay, what time do you typically go to bed?
Yeah, I go to bed whenever. Sometimes I go to bed at 11, midnight. Like I feel like sleep is a waste of time.
You don't believe that your body uses that time to maybe regenerate cells and rest?
It does. It's still a waste of time. It does do all of that, but not all of us need 8 hours of sleep. Like if I went to sleep and I didn't have to wake up, my body wakes up within like 4 to 5 hours, and I'm wide awake. But some of it is me training myself. Like when my wife got pregnant with our son, people were like, "Oh, Ngo, get all the sleep you can now." And I'm like, what kind of fucking horrible advice is that? Like, I'm going to go into a situation where I'm not going to be sleeping, and you're telling me to get all the sleep I can. If I get all the sleep I can, when the baby comes and I can't sleep, I'll be miserable.
Exactly.
So I'm like, I'm going to take this time to do sleep deprivation training, perfect not sleeping, so that when the baby comes, it will be nothing.
That is so bloody smart.
It's so simple.
I have not yet heard one parent say that, because we have all heard get all the sleep you can now, because when the baby comes, you won't be getting it, and you're filled with fear.
Horrible advice. You cannot sleep for tomorrow.
I know, exactly. You can't you don't put it in the bank. Like, you don't put it in the bank and then use it.
Exactly. There's no sleep savings, So I'm like, I will prepare. See, the thing about me is nothing I do is an accident. I like to think several steps ahead. I like to anticipate, the fuck ups, and multiple steps ahead. So if this fucks up, what am I gonna do? Okay, I'll do this. So if this fuck up happens, I have to have multiple steps for that situation. And that is the only way that I've been able to, like, my gym is still open. A lot of gyms are closing. A lot of guys open up gyms with tons of money. People told me I wasn't going to be able to make it because I didn't have investors. It was just me. I bought the gym with my own money. You know, no backing, no loans, nothing. Like I worked my ass off, saved my money, and I bought the gym by myself. So
Okay, can we just
people,
mention, let me mention Iconoclast, right?
yes,
Fifth Avenue, like Flatiron, beautiful area in Manhattan for those of you listening who aren't
mhm,
aware. It's a deliciously fabulous area. And as we all know, New York and Manhattan is chock full of all types of human beings, you know, but not everyone gets to train celebrities, people that we have watched in, you know, in movies or TV or whatever else. So what is it, do you think, about you and your particular method, your way or whatever? What is it that has attracted, you know, people like, I mean, the Brooke Shields thing still blows my mind, because it's like, this is a girl, I'm going to call her a girl, who has
mhm.
been around since she was however old.
A
She looks
baby.
exactly a baby. She looks incredible anyway, but the fact that she is like entrusting her physical fitness, do you know what I mean, to someone
Mhm.
we can sort of look at and go, oh, we can maybe go to that gym as well. We can sort of work out with her. You know, Brooke Shield, J-Lo, I don't know, like, these are fabulous women, by the way.
Mm.
So it's very encouraging to know that you're training women whom the rest of us look at and look up to, and especially
Mm.
women of a certain age, where at one stage in the entertainment industry, that age of woman, it's like you're written off, you know,
You're
once you
done.
get to 50 or 40, you're done.
Mhm.
So how is it, what is it, uh, I do not want to believe that it was just because you're really gorgeous that they were like, hey, I think I'm going to train with him. What is it
No,
about
no.
your method or your space that made them think, yeah, this is the guy? I mean, obviously, your body is your own advertisement, so
Mhm.
they know you can do it. They have heard of your accolades. What made them trust their body in your hands?
Well, what made them trust me is seeing what I did for others. You know, I when I got in the business, anything that I get into, I quickly dissect it. What is the path to the greatest success? Get in, figure that out, and then drive it to the end of, you know, drive it to death. So I looked at the fitness business. A lot of people want to come in and they want to work with injured people. They want to fix people. They want to be, you know. But for me, I was like 99.9% of people that walk through the doors of a gym want to look better. And they want to look better now.
Yes. Yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because I've been working out for most of my life, I have tried all kinds of different styles of training. So I started creating a method that worked and worked quickly. A lot of times, like the key is to build muscle and burn fat at the same time. That is how you get results quickly. Like I can do it in 7 days. Like if you come to me for 7 days, I will make you look like a different person in 7 days. So
In seven
creating in
days.
7 days, you will see a difference. And people in your life people that see you every day will see a difference in you in 7 days. You know, and
Okay.
then and then
Where
and
do
then
I
and then,
sign up?
and then and then you add another 7 days, that's 14 days. You add another 7 days, that's 21 days. Then you add another seven, that's 28. So for me, the more time you give me is just an opportunity to just make it better and perfect it. Like Brooke looks like looks completely different from when we started 14 days ago. And it's not just what I also give my clients is mental toughness. So you believe that your life is not over. You know, in entertainment, once a woman hits 40, 45, they shove her, like they couldn't shove her in quickly enough into the back, like not even to the back burner, into the wall behind the back burner.
Yeah. Out.
Okay. So
Yeah.
for me, the challenge is I am going to bring you back and make you look better than any 20-year-old. Okay. So when you stand in a room with a 20-year-old, the producers now have to show you that they are prejudiced, and that is why they're not booking you for this role. Because you look better than the girl that they're that they're, you know, is young and vibrant or whatever. You look stronger, more vibrant, more energized. Just your eyes
Confident.
pop more. You're confident. You feel like
Yeah.
you can run through a brick wall because that's what I bring to the table. You know, because I believe that I can run through a brick wall, and I'll pull you through the brick wall with me. And by the time we're done, there's nothing that can stop any of my clients. Like nobody that I've ever worked with ever goes back. I mean, I say nobody, but 95% of people I work with never go back to the way they were because once you can switch the mind, the body just follows. The body doesn't know anything. You tell your body what to do and it will do it. If you desire it enough, if you're willing, if it's life or death for you, and you desire it and you make the move and you make move here, your body follows.
See, I feel like with you, it's a twofer, as the Americans say. You know, it's almost like you are life coach and fitness coach. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because of your own
Yeah.
life experience, because of the things that you have gone through. And listen, it's fantastic to have, you know, you have a history that a lot of Black Americans would love to have, the whole, you know, connection to where you were born, where your family come
Mm-hmm.
from, you know, being, you know, yourself, myself, born in England, but my parents came directly from Nigeria, you know, whereas a lot of African Americans, it's that thing of like, okay, I've got to find out where I actually come from, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
there's this feeling of not knowing where you belong or whatever. So because of your experience, not just in how you grew up, but then being a sickly child, like no one would look at you and think that you were a child that went through being in hospital frequently. You say you had 360 ribs, like you knew you could see them all. That is like, it doesn't even equate with the person that we look at now, but you've had those experiences which now feed who you are, and you're able to then to educate, to direct, to coach, really, not just
Mm-hmm.
people's mental state and their psychological state, but also now their physical being, which it has to be half of the reason why many of us battle with our bodies, because it's like
Mm-hmm.
we don't necessarily have the belief or the training or the whatever it is up here. So
Well,
you
a lot of it also is not even not having it up here. A lot of people that write what we read are lazy people.
explain.
So you read an article written in a magazine that says, "Oh, when you're 50, your body doesn't produce as much this, and I can't build that much muscle. Once I'm 50, you go downhill." And then they keep writing it, and they keep saying it, and you keep reading these things, and it just strikes you down, just beats you down, and you believe it. So once you're knocking on the door of 50, you believe once again, you know, like they said, it's over. Once you believe it, it's over. You know, people always like, you know, your metabolism slows down when you hit a certain age. Your metabolism does not slow down. You do.
Ah,
When you're younger, you're vibrant, you're excited about life. You want to run everywhere. You want to do, you know, be here, there. As you get older, you're like, leave that for the kids to do. You know, the kids are doing all that. I'm just gonna sit here and sip my wine and enjoy my life. And then
the couch looks nice. The couch looks good.
the couch looks amazing. The rocking, and it goes from the couch to the rocking chair, you know. And then when you start living this sedentary life, the weight, the calories stay the same, but your activity diminishes. And guess what happens? The pounds start to add up.
When people come to you, first of all, how do they get you? Can they, because your gym is not, is it somewhere that people can just, you said it's open during this crazy time. So can people just walk in off the street and say, I want a membership for a conda class? Okay, so tell me about this elite space.
So we're on the 5th floor, so you have to be buzzed in. So usually you would either contact us through our website or Instagram page, or you can contact me directly through my website or my Instagram page, and we'll schedule an appointment. It's all one-on-one. There's no membership. It's all one-on-one, and we keep it that way for multiple reasons, especially now in COVID. It keeps it a little less crowded, so we can social distance.
Good. And are you doing any online training for people that are interested but maybe don't live in Manhattan or whatever?
Yeah, okay. I have my training program that people can download and do on their own, but I also do virtual sessions, FaceTime, WhatsApp, Zoom. So if people want to work with me one-on-one, they can. If they don't live in New York, fine. I'm working with a girl that lives in Spain. I'm working with a guy that lives in Italy. I train a girl, a woman in China. So it doesn't, as long as we can get the schedule done. A lot of people are afraid to come back to gym. So, and I get it. So I pivoted my business. And once again, when been talking about anticipating negative situations and being prepared. Once I heard of COVID, I knew it was going to hit the fitness industry hard. So I emailed and texted everybody that I've ever trained, because they're at home. No matter where you are in the world, you're at home. And I got even busier because people don't have to travel to come to me. So I was doing way more sessions than I was doing with people traveling to the gym. So it's all about just pivoting and being prepared. And for everything in life, prepare for success, set yourself up for success. And that's how I've lived my life, whatever it is that I've chosen to do. And that doing it makes the way I do things makes it appear easy. It's not. But because I get to the root of it, everything in life has an equation. Once you solve that equation, it's done. Boxing has an equation. Personal training business has an equation. Everything is an equation to solve for success. So once you figure out what this equation is and you solve for the success, you cannot lose. And then you stay on top and just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and anticipating. And for me, that's the key to success. And the same thing works with happiness in life. There's an equation for happiness. There's an equation for my happiness, an equation for your happiness, an equation for everybody's happiness. You have to find out what your equation is.
How do you look for it?
To solve for it.
Where do you look for it? How do you look for it? Where do you go looking?
We all know, every single one of us knows what makes us happy. We just don't have the balls to die for it. If you're willing to die for it, that's when you're going to be truly happy. When you're trying to please this person, please that person, do the right thing, that's when you're miserable. When you know, we all know, and you free yourself and you take, you grab life by the horns and you're like, fuck it. This is what I'm doing. I need to do this or I will die. When you're able to do that, then you're truly going to be happy. If you don't do that, you're going to be an imposter in your life.
Is this something you're teaching your children already? How old are your children?
My son is 5.5 and my daughter is 1.5 years. I want my son to be a truly free black man
Mm.
with no hang-ups. I spent a lot of my younger years trying to shake my parents' doctrines, all the shit they put on me, shaking all of that to have my own myself come through. I was able to do it, but it was a lot of work, So I want to start my kids at the 1 yard line. And this is a football analogy. Let me say, I want to start them closest to the winning position so that they don't have to, I don't put shackles on my kids,
Mm.
you know, um, and that is my goal. Like, I just want to be a vessel for their lives. It's like, just kind of guide them, not shackle them, not put fear into them. I don't want them to live with fear.
The thing is, you're the living example for them. Do you know what I mean? So
Mm.
even if you didn't say it, you're the living, breathing example for them. Self-care is very important, especially these days. One of the ways I practice self-care is to make, drink, and sell my own ginger tea with some extra special added immune-boosting ingredients. How do you practice self-care? Thank you again for tuning in to Living Out Loud with Loretta. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with a friend or several friends. Post a screenshot of this episode on your Instagram stories and tag me at Loretta Nkwacha. You can also watch this episode with a cold beverage on my YouTube channel. The link is posted below. Lastly, if you have the time, please leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts so that we can continue sharing stories, singing songs, and living our lives really out loud.